every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good evening to you and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Omotayo Alo. In our major news tonight, Bayelsa's go-to poll, a supplementary election in Kogi State, concludes today. Also in this program, mixed reactions trail Bayelsa election as Governor Seriake Dixon and APC governorship candidate Timpriye Silva trade words. Petrol tanker explodes in Ojuelegba area of Lagos. One house and vehicles burnt to ashes, but no casualty reported. And from outside Nigeria, President Barack Obama says the U.S. will not be terrorized by mass shootings in San Bernardino in California. Thank you so very much for joining us tonight. Now the news in full. The governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Timpriye Silva, has accused the ruling party in the state of sponsoring armed thugs in order to disrupt the governorship election in the state. Silva specifically claimed that thugs besieged the residence of the Minister for State Agriculture, Enikin Lokobiri, and shot severally before they were later arrested by men of Joint Task Force. He made the submission shortly after casting his vote at Okpoma polling unit in Brass local government area. Basido Kafo has more in this report presented from our studio.
This is Okpoma community, the hometown of APC governorship candidate in Bayelsa State. The polling unit is located right in front of his father's house. In spite of rumors of violence during the election, eligible voters in the community, made up of youth and elderly, came out to exercise their civic duty. When Silva appeared for his accreditation, the card reader recognized his fingerprint after several attempts. Speaking with journalists, he decried persistent failure of the card reader to recognize his fingerprints. He also claimed that armed men made an attempt to kill him when coming en route to the sea. Silva, however, expressed satisfaction at the level of the voters' turnout, especially in his ward.
Work here, and it gives me some worry. But apart from that, everything is here, right? I mean, it's good right here. But out there, we hear all kinds of stories. The Honorable Minister's house was besieged, and gunmen were shooting into his house. I hear that they've been dislodged. Elsewhere in southern Nigeria, I hear that there were all kinds of problems. In Yenagoa, I hear that the Secretary of the Environmental Sanitation was going around in a bus with armed people to shoot. I actually called, and the Commissioner of Police told me that they've dispatched them, and I said it's not enough to just dispatch them. They should make some arrests. But on the whole, I think it's good here, but what we saw is that the other party probably did not want an election. There is a proliferation of armed thugs in almost all communities. Even in this community, there were armed thugs. Luckily, the youth of the community were vigilant, and they were able to fish them out yesterday night. And I think so far the community has been calm, and we're going on, and the election is proceeding quite well.
The voters here, they say, are happy that they have exercised their franchise.
The card reader provided by INEC was unable to read the fingerprints of Bayelsa State Governor Seriake Dixon, his wife and mother, during the voter accreditation process and the ongoing governorship election. I described the situation as worrisome and embarrassing to the nation's electoral process. But said his team is taking stock and will issue a comprehensive report at the appropriate time. Meanwhile, our correspondent Abiola Oluwole, who monitored the election in Sagbama local government in Bayelsa State, is standing by via a phone-in conversation to give us what the current situation report is in the state on the governorship election today. Good evening, Abiola Oluwole.
Good evening, Namatayo.
Yeah, so we'd like to know what's latest in Bayelsa State today.
Yeah, when the accreditation started very late, around 10 a.m. in the morning, and when the governor, the incumbent governor, and the candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the ongoing governorship election, I said ongoing governorship election because there will still be continuation in southern Ijo and some pockets of some areas tomorrow where elections started late and where there were reports of violence earlier in the day. So when the candidate was unable to see the fingers of the governor, his mother and wife, he said he described it as a mockery and an embarrassment to Nigeria in the Committee of Nations. But when he came back to vote, around 3:45 p.m. in 3:45 p.m. He said there are reports of violence in Brass, southern Ijo, and he said that 4 people have been reportedly killed in the course of the melee. So he attributed this, he put the blame at the doorstep of the opposition and specifically a minister of for agriculture in the local breed, saying that he's the one responsible for the shooting in southern Ijo. But at the same time, the allegation has been put at the doorstep of the incumbent governor by the APC, claiming that he is behind the crisis in some parts of the state. And it is now the latest about the story is, according to the INEC National Commissioner Mustafa Aleki, the results have been taken in, but they are yet to do anything on the results until the continuation, until they conclude the election tomorrow in southern Ijo. Maybe by latest in the afternoon tomorrow, we should be expecting declaration of results, collation of results at the INEC Center. That is the situation now.
All right, so I want to believe that, of course, for other polling units, the vote has been collated, just remaining one to add to the number which has already been collated. Is that the situation?
Yeah, I actually posed the question to the National Commissioner that now that voting is continuing in some parts of the state, when are we expecting results to start trickling in? And he said they have some results with them now. But they are not going to do anything on it. They are not going to collect until the one from the southern Ijo starts rolling in. And he said the election starts in that part of the state at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Okay, now while the APC and the PDP candidate trade words of blame on who is responsible for violence or the other, how calm are Bayelsans at this time? Of course, with your observation from them.
Everything is calm. People are going immediately after election winds down around 5:30 p.m. because some polling booths voted at 6 p.m. The people have started going by about their normal business. But what we what we saw, our observation is the INEC office is having heavy presence of security operatives, and to anybody passing through the INEC office area is meant to raise his hands up before passing through. And I see in our observation, we think that is part of their check to ensure that there is no breach in security.
Okay, thank you very much, Abiola Oluwole, for that update. Yeah. Meanwhile, as we go on, former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan has implored the Independent National Electoral Commission to find a lasting solution to the many complaints of card readers. Addressing journalists in Otueke after his accreditation, Jonathan said the INEC need to review complaints regarding the use of permanent voters' card and card readers from elections ahead of 2019 general elections. He said that the high rate at which electorates complain about card readers is not encouraging. He also noted that he expected the Commission to have found a solution to this and also provided enough incident forms to enable more registered voters to vote, considering the fact that it is an isolated state election, appealing to the people of Bayelsa to stay calm while the INEC up its game in carrying out its duties. Bayelsa Police Command said on Saturday that Namilis had been restored in Okoroma, headquarters of Southern Ijaw local government area of the state. The public relations officer of the command, Asinim Bootswart, stated this in an interview with journalists in Yenugua. Bootswart said the command had received report of a clash between rival groups which disrupted the electoral process in the area. He said one person was injured during the clash while the police arrested some suspects in the process. No life was lost during the clash. The Independent National Electoral Commission and the police have confirmed that election in some places in southern Ijaw local government area has been postponed due to late takeoff of the exercise in the area. INEC Director of Voters Education and Publicity Oluwole Osaz Uzi and Police Commissioner Operations David Folawiyo also confirmed the postponement of the election. After weeks of brickbats from political stakeholders in Kogi State, the supplementary election in 91 polling unit has finally been concluded. There was apathy in the turnout of the voters, but the exercise has been adjudged as peaceful. Correspondent covering the Kogi supplementary election, Rashid has more.
After much legal battle and attendant violence, the supplementary election to conclude the inconclusive Kogi governorship election held across the affected 91 polling units in 18 local government areas of the state. Dakina local government has the highest polling units affected with over 25 polling units. Oganineku ward, a remote area of the local government, had elections earlier cancelled due to security reasons. And despite the low turnout, voters queued to exercise their franchise as after being accredited.
Larger than what we have today, but it's because of the crisis we had before. People are just returning from where they went to hide, to sojourn. They are just returning for the sake of this election.
As you can see, we are going on smoothly and we're trusting God it will go smoothly till the end of the day. So we're trusting God it will be successful.
The Independent Electoral Commission also scores the process as impressive.
It is peaceful and people are coming out to vote. So I think that is the best thing that I would say. Then, of course, we'll look at how the voting cell will be, and I pray and I hope that it will continue and finish successfully.
With votings across the polling units finally done, the people expressed their feelings on the election.
The good thing is that anybody that God is ordained to be a leader, at the end of the tunnel, God will produce a very viable leader for us. And all our people here to be steadfast and very prayerful, so that after this election, the state and the Nigeria and the Oganineku in nature will be very conducive.
With the votes finally concluded, Kogites and indeed Nigerians await the final declaration of who becomes the governor of Kogi State from the Electoral Commission. Rashid, CoreTV News, Kogi State.
All right, that was what we got from Kogi election. Of course, our correspondent has been on ground and is still there at the moment. Rashid is actually in Lokoja, particularly in the INEC office where the results have been collated. Rashid, good evening.
A very good evening to you.
Yeah, so we'd like to know what the updates are in the INEC office where you are at the moment.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me, Rashid?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes, I said would like to know what the updates are in the INEC office in Lokoja where you are.
At several times now, we are all awaiting the coming of the policing officers who will be coming from each local government areas. And as it stands now, the INEC office is
dealing with activities in the arrival of the commission officers from their different local government areas. Though we have several ones that have arrived, we are having like 7 or 8 local governments right here now. We await that of over 10 local government areas. So as for the leadership of the Electoral Commission to start the announcement in earnest. Short of that, everything has been peaceful, calm, as we all await the arrival of other results and the commencement of the announcement of the results in earnest.
Okay, so as it is, everything is still on standstill. There's no collation so far done since you've been there.
Yes, we can't everything is on standstill because we don't really know the modality of which INEC is going to use in announcing. If we don't know if they are going to take them batch by batch or they want everything to be completed before the start of your announcement. But whichever way, with the little observation I made there, each time every coalition officer from each local government comes around, he is going to put down his name and will be given a space, meaning that they will be treated according to their arrival. And even as I'm speaking to you right now, another result is just coming in right away. So we are yet to know the particular local government. So I think the modality which is going to be used by INEC is that they want every one of them to come together. Say they got a few polling units, 91 polling units, they want to run them one, so they want everything to be complete before they start that. With this coming in, we'll now be having 9 local government areas out of 18 will be awaiting another 9. So hopefully between now and the next few hours, the announcement will start.
All right. What's the security situation like the INEC office? How well protected?
As usual, it's going to be a very watertight one, and that is what is being experienced there. Security is everywhere, stationed in strategic locations around INEC, and not even INEC alone, even in places around Lokoja area. When we talk about the Ganaga Junction, we talk about NUJ Road, we talk about IDB Road, we have security agents who are strategic locations in order to forestall any occurrence or breakdown of law and order. And that is, I think, is put forward in order to make sure that the lives and property of every Kogite is safe at the eve of the announcement of the final result and the eventual winner of the governorship election.
All right, thank you, Rashid. We look forward to getting the update and, of course, when the winner is eventually announced by the INEC official. Meanwhile, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar says the virtue of Emir of Kefi, Alhaji Chindo Yamusa, has robbed Nigeria of an outstanding expedient of peace and unity. In a condolence message to the government and people of Nasarawa State, the former Vice President notes that the late Yamusa was genuinely committed to building the bridges of unity, sustaining peace and peaceful coexistence among Nigerians. According to Atiku, the deceased had won the respect of many Nigerians because throughout his life he was passionately devoted to the cause of achieving unity even in diversity. Atiku recalls that Yamusa was one of the northern leaders whose voices were loudly heard condemning the Boko Haram terrorism in the north and always stressing the need for leaders to show vigilance in their immediate communities to avoid the emergence of dangerous ideologies. Senate President Bukola Saraki has described the late Emir of Kifi, Muhammadu Chindo Yamusa II, as a man of peace whose long reign witnessed phenomenal development in the ancient Kefi Emirate in particular and Nasarawa State in general. Special advisor to the Senate President on Media and Publicity, Yusuf Olaniyonu, said in a statement in Abuja that his principal received the news of the passing of the Emir with shock and sadness. He said while Saraki thanked God for the exemplary life and progressive disposition of the royal father, he commiserated with the immediate family of the deceased, the Kefi Emirate, as well as the government and people of Nasarawa State over the irreparable loss. He urged them to be consoled by the fact that the late monarch lived a selfless life and was a father to all, irrespective of religion, ethnicity or political affiliation. He called on the people of Kefi and Nasarawa State to emulate the virtues of tolerance exhibited by the late traditional ruler throughout his earthly sojourn. We'll be back with more stories right after this break. Stay with us.
It's a new dawn in Nigeria, and the mantra is change. The wind of change is blowing all over Nigeria and beckons to you. One sure way to respond is to perform your civic duty, pay your tax. With taxes, government generates revenue to fulfill its electoral promises, ensure regular power supply, provide good security, standard education, medical care, true total change. Individuals and corporations enjoy specific benefits, rights and privileges for paying taxes and avoid the consequences and penalties of not paying. Oil revenue is no longer sufficient to bring desired change, but your tax can. It pays to pay your tax. A message from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
The man on the streets have come to realize that the power to make decisions lies in the hands of the people.
I don't think the election.
5 local government out of the 30 local government is more than many states in the north. The economy is booming. Where is the economy booming?
Last in Abuja.
Don't you have security?
Why are we fighting? President should not just sit in Abuja or in Asokoro or wherever he lives. States are supposed to go around. They know them.
States cannot be there and be here at the same time.
The life of the citizens, community need to be protected.
It can't work out.
Bring the message of peace.
Let there be proper devolution of power from the center. The center is too powerful.
It's time to do the best. The people are hasting. Why are you hasting? Why are you hasting? Why are you hasting? Why let's say
the people giving voice to the voiceless.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's CoreTV Primetime News. Here is a quick reminder of our top stories. Bayelsa's go to poll a supplementary election in Kogi State concludes today. Also in this program, mixed reactions trailed by Bayelsa election as Governor Seriake Dixon and APC governorship candidate Timpriye Silva trade words. Petrol tanker explodes in Ojuelegba area of Lagos. One house and vehicle burnt to ashes, but no casualty reported. For more news and information, do well to visit our social media platform, facebook.com/CoreTV News, our Twitter handle @CoreTV News NG. You could get more on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, live space and news. All may not have ended about the fuel tanker accident in Lagos, as residents of Ojuelegba had their sleep cut short as they were awakened by an inferno which was caused by a petroleum tanker that fell off the bridge. Our correspondent Oluyemisi Olubi has more in this report.
For the second time in 4 months, after an articulated truck fell from Ojuelegba Bridge, killing 3 people, another 30,000-liter truck loaded with fuel has fallen from the same axis, spilling its contents into the canal and gutters around the area. Eyewitnesses say the force with which the truck hit the ground caused it to explode, causing an inferno.
What happened towards that midnight? The thing happened, let me just say, the container dropped towards 1 a.m. So unfortunately, the driver now say he wants to reverse back. When area boys attack him, another container, nice spoiled by the side. So the only help the container can use, you now relax on that container based on the tire are flat, the tire of the petroleum tanker have spoiled. That is what makes him bad. So along the line now, assuming that they have leave that container should be there, let the tanker should rest on it. There's nothing that will happen than this. They have, so at least suggestion should be there this morning. But Along the line now, towing van came and tore off the container away. By the time they now tore the container away, it's not up to 30 minutes. The tanker now fell down. So by the time he fell down with the motion, that is how he exploded.
Fire razed a building, but no lives were lost, as men of the Lagos State Fire Service were on ground to curtail the accident.
It was at 03:06 hours this morning that the distress call came into the Lagos State Fire Service. And immediately I dispatched the fire truck from Ilupeju and responded promptly. On arrival, we discovered that it was a tanker fully laden with 33,000 liters of PMS that fell, lost control while on motion and fell by its side. The tank eventually got disconnected from the cabin and we engaged on preventive activity. We tried to make sure that we diluted the petroleum products with chemical, and in the course of doing that, the spillage was going into the canal. It went through the manhole by the side of the road into the canal, and all of a sudden there was an ignition from a very far distance from where the incident occurred and resulted to a break of fire. But because I have enough fire trucks on ground, 6 fire trucks from the Lagos State Fire Service on ground, so we were able to effectively manage the situation. No life loss. As at 7:30 a.m. we've already put out the fire.
Officials of LASMA were also on ground to manage the traffic and ensure tension was reduced to an insignificant level.
Now that we've done all the recovery and all the rescue have been completed, we are ready to flush the traffic now. And once we open the traffic, vehicles will move, and the next 30 minutes, Lagos will be free.
It was from this point that the truck carrying 33,000 liters of petroleum fell. The driver of the tanker is nowhere to be found. The spillage from the fuel spread all the way down to the bus park, burning 3 vehicles. And it also spreaded to Clegg Street, burning another house. No casualties were recorded. I am Olubi Oluyemisi, reporting for CoreTV News.
And well done, Oluyemisi, for that report. You know that particular incident caused a lot of activities in Ojuelegba where motorists had to be grounded by traffic congestions. And of course, with the eyewitness report saying that it was due to the activities of some miscreant that led the tanker driver to actually go off limit. You know, it's very important that the relevant security agencies do something to curtail a reoccurrence of this particular incident. And now as we move on, the Nigerian military has made further gains against the Boko Haram insurgent with the arrest of the sect chief, cameraman, according to a statement by the acting director of Army Public Relations, Colonel Sani Sheka Usman. The suspect, whose name is Abdullahi Abubakar Saga, is the number 58 on the list of 100 wanted Boko Haram terrorists list. The Boko Haram chief cameraman was arrested at UBA town in Akira, UBA local government area. Colonel Usman also confirmed to CoreTV News that 2 other terrorists were also arrested by troops at Rumingo and Kila Kasa. The presidency has approved the promotion of 907 Federal Road Safety Commission officers between the ranks of Deputy Corps Commander and Deputy Route Commander. This is contained in a statement signed by BC Kazim, Head Media Relations and Strategy. According to the statement, 90 of the officers were promoted from the rank of Assistant Corps Commander to the rank of Deputy Corps Commander, while 35 senior route commanders were promoted to the rank of Chief Route Commander. The statement also said that 24 senior route commanders were promoted to the rank of Senior Route Commander, just as 758 deputy route commanders were promoted to the rank of Route Commander. The Corps Marshal of the Commission, Boboye Oyeyemi, expressed his appreciation to President Muhammad Buhari for motivating his men to do more. Oyeyemi therefore urged the newly promoted officers to justify the confidence of reposed in them. A group, Doma Youth, has vowed to stand by former Senate President David Mark and make sure his mandate is protected. Senator David Mark was sacked by a court of appeal in Abuja, which election was challenged by the All Progressives Congress candidate Daniel Onje on the grounds that the poll was marred by irregularities. The president of the Doma Youth Vanguard, Michael Ogidi Ochibe, in a statement released, says they were surprised at the outcome of the court ruling, but were determined to make sure the former Senate president gets his position back during the rerun of the election. Rivers State Governor Nisim Wike has announced that the state government will immortalize the name of former head of state General Yakubu Gowon for creating the state and serving as a symbol of national unity. Speaking at the Government House, Port Harcourt, when he received former heads of state General Yakubu Gowon and the national officers of Nigeria, praised Governor Wike urged the former head of state to continue to play the role of the defendant of the nation's indivisibility and unity. He noted that as a pragmatic leader, he will not wait for the former head of state to pass away before duly recognizing the contributions he made in the creation of Rivers State. We take another break, and when we come back, we bring you stories from outside Nigeria and more.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to our husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
But some people will stand for Yoruba land, will be strong man. We don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. And Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Another foreign sin, the blast on the island of Colville on the Chadian side of the lake struck a weekly market. No group has said it was began the attacks, but the region is under a state of emergency after attacks by the Boko Haram militant group. This year, thousands of people fleeing the Islamist fighters sought safety on the island. A police spokesman told Associated Press news agency that 3 women had carried out the attack on Colville. At least 80 others were injured in the blast. Chad has played a key role helping Nigeria recapture areas seized by the group in northern Nigeria. But as Boko Haram lost territory, it stepped up attacks away from its Nigerian strongholds and into remote areas of Chad, as well as neighboring Niger and Cameroon. Niger and Cameroon. According to Amnesty International, at least 17,000 people, mostly civilians, have been killed since 2009 when the group launched its violent uprising to try to impose Islamist rule in northern Nigeria. Meanwhile, President Barack Obama says the U.S. will not be terrorized by Wednesday's mass shootings in San Bernardino, California. Said Rizwan Farouk and his wife Tasfin Malik, 27, killed 14 people before being shot dead by police. The FBI is investigating the shootings as an act of terrorism. The Islamic State militant group on Saturday hailed the attack, saying it had been carried out by 2 supporters of the Islamic State. The statement carried by ISIS by ISIS Al-Bayan Radio gave no indication that the group had any involvement in planning the shootings at the Inland Regional Center Social Services Agency. And in the world of sport, 3 goals in an inspired 15-minute second-half spell condemned Bayern Munich to its first Bundesliga defeat of the season Saturday, beating 3-1 at Borussia Mönchengladbach. Act 2 had been, of course, withstand sustained pressure from its Bavarian rival until striking with a vengeance after the break as Oscar Wendt, Lars Stindl and Fabian Johnson were on target. Bayern's late consolation at least gave it some cheer. His substitute Frank Ribery scored in his first outing for 9 months after injury. It was Bayern's first defeat in the German top flight since losing to Freiburg in May. Also, Chelsea's fluttering season shows no sign of getting back on track after the loss 1-0 to Bournemouth at Stamford Bridge. It was Bournemouth's first clean sheet from home in Premier League and only their second of the season. Coach Jose Mourinho decided to leave Diego Costa on the bench again, but the Spaniard was introduced at half-time after Leslie's first 45 minutes, in which Chelsea struggled to find any rhythm. The reigning Premier League champions improved in the second half, but it wasn't until the final 20 minutes that they finally put concerted pressure to Chari's goal. But unfortunately, it was Bournemouth who claimed the victory as Glenn Murray added home in the 82nd minute to grab the win. And just before we go tonight, here is a quick reminder of our top stories. We told you earlier that Bayelsa's trooped to the poll to elect the next governor of the state, while the election in Kogi State concludes today. And also, mixed reactions trail Bayelsa election as Governor Seriake Dixon and APC governorship candidate Timpriye Silva trade words. And finally, petrol tanker explodes in Ojuelegba area of Lagos. 1 house and vehicles burned to ashes, but no casualty reported. On behalf of the entire news crew, thank you so very much for staying with us tonight. And remember that we'll bring you updates of the Bayelsa and Kogi election as news breaks. My name is Omotayo Alo. Have a good night rest.